Hey guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Have I got something real interesting for you to show you guys? We have a 5-floor elevator. We have 5 buttons over here to correlate to each floor, and open and close for the door, and an emergency stop for the up and down motion. And the cool thing about this particular elevator is that it will actually be able to it'll be able to decide whether or not it needs to go up or down depending on what floor you are on. So we have these little sensors all around the cab and this blocked out area. So we have a sensor here, and a couple sensors over here to actually this one's for the bottom floor, top floor, and those sort of tell the elevator what floor it's on, so we can actually then it will then decide on its own whether or not it needs to go up or if it needs to go down. So here we are on the 3rd floor, so we're getting higher from our little display that we'll get to later, up to the 4th floor. You know, if you've been counting or paying attention, or speaking of paying attention, where's the floor? And the doors didn't open. Really? Of course it didn't. Oh, wait. So, there are actually 2 sets of doors here, and they are independently controllable, and can be set differently. If you want to take a glance at the spaghetti. There it is. We'll get back to that, but you can decide which doors open in here. You know what? Well, I'll get to that later. So here we are on the 5th floor. I had to build a stairs every time it accidentally went away from me, but I don't have any of these rails going any further, and that's because I fully trust that this elevator is not going to go any higher or any further, primarily because of the way it's wired. Let's open the doors here. And that's what the sensor directly cuts off the functionality of the up motor. So it's not going to go anywhere beyond the 5th floor, which I think is more of a convenience than anything else. But actually, hang on, full stop. Let's go back up. From up here on the 5th floor, we can then go to any floor that we want to, and it'll know that it needs to go down based on it knowing that it's on the 5th floor. Now, the logic behind that is pretty complex. We took a look at it. I'm not going to be able to explain any of this to you guys from here. Oh, and just so you know, the 3rd floor, actually, the back door opened, but I did really want to surprise you guys with that. So, yeah, I think this is good. And we can show you. We're on the 3rd floor now. We're going back up to the 5th floor. So it will skip the floors that we don't want to stop at, as we skipped the 4th floor twice that time. And just for funsies, because the mechanics of Scrap Mechanic and how the game works, this is actually always sliding down ever so slightly. You can probably see that pretty clearly with this tire here. So it will actually use the doors itself to keep it from falling anymore. So let me open the doors from out here just to show you guys. Said open the doors from out here. Oh wait, wrong button, that's why. There we are. Yeah, once those hit, your game will really start to lag out. So for the sheer sake of the rest of this demonstration, let's leave the doors closed and that on the top floor and have a look at our diagram over here, which is how I'm going to explain to you exactly what's going on in there. There's first thing we need to do, I think, here is identify what it is that we're looking at, because this can be pretty scary all on its own. So we have 3 buttons over here. We're gonna use these as top floor, middle floor, bottom floor. And top floor and bottom floor actually work pretty much exactly the same. They just go to different directions. So the next thing that I want to show you are these sensors. These are obviously the floor detectors that we used over there. I have switches next to them because it's easier to demonstrate using the switches rather than the sensors. So they're more as an indicator of what's going on. And the switches are here so I can show you how it works. From there, what I want you to get familiar with is this little arrangement. And this here is just a NOR, or technically a NOT gate, because there's only one input. An AND gate, a NOT gate, and an AND gate, all connected in a loop. What this does is it creates an RS NOR latch, or if you want to think of it differently, it's kind of like a switch within the logic over here. So we turn a button into a switch over here. We're not going to actually be looking at that one just yet. Let's start with this one over here. This is the down button. Down motors. Green for grass, blue for sky. So here we have that RS NOR latch. Same setup. So it'll work like a switch, but the way I have it wired up is this is working as an on button, and we have over here our emergency stop button, which is working like an off button. So we can see that from over here. Try to get it in shot. There you go. So these switched over from being lit on the bottom to being lit on the top. So from there, now that these are lit, we can get a signal to a controller, which is then hooked up to these wheels. So the wheels now, trying to set this up to best illustrate how this is working. So I don't think I really explained that the way this works is that we have these tires that are sort of hugging the rail. I've actually set them up in the elevator to sort of rotate into the rail a little bit more to give it a little more tension, because right now you can probably tell simply by the fact that the tires are spinning freely, even though they are quote-unquote up against this rail. There's actually a fair amount of space and low amount of contact. So this isn't actually going anywhere. It's not really, and it wouldn't do anything for your own elevator unless you were to push these tires closer together, and you can just use bearings and sort of a lever action to do that. So before I move on to any of the rest, I just want to show you how I set this up to go one direction and the other. So you can tell on each of these wheels we have 2 bearings. The front set, which this controller is attached to, are all set to spin the tires downwards. So if this rail wasn't attached to the ground, the tires would be pushing them up, and the chalkboard here, or the blackboard I should say, would be going down effectively. That being said, we can stop our elevator. We had the RS NOR latch switch over, right, just to see it again. And top floor basically does the exact same thing. So we had the RS NOR latch switch over here, and it stops. Just to show you upwards motion, the tires are now pushing down against the rail. So now comes the middle part, the middle floor. So how is the elevator supposed to know which way to go when you want to go to the middle floor? Well, we're going to have to be able to tell what floor we are actually on. So we have these sensors. These are telling us whether or not we are on these particular floors. So when the bottom sensor is on, that is sending a signal up here, which is running off of this RS NOR latch. You know, set them up the same over here, so fairly easy to notice. Now, what this RS NOR latch is basically a way for the elevator to realize if it needs to go to that floor. So the first thing it does is it switches over into a sort of memory state of it wants to go to the middle floor. So when that signal is on, when you want to go to the middle floor, and the sensor for down here on the first floor is on, we have a simple AND gate up here. So two signals going in. Once both conditions are met, we want to go to the middle floor, and the bottom floor sensor is on, then that will activate the up motor situation over here. All right. So let's stop that. So we're on the first floor over here according to the elevator, and we press the middle floor button, and the up motor gets turned on. So from here, what the elevator would be doing, of course, is leaving the first floor. So you wouldn't have the sensor going off anymore. And then you would hit this sensor for the middle floor. And what that does, a little trickier, this switch goes to this AND gate so that, if you're going up to the top floor, let's say, you want to make sure that this signal isn't going to try to stop the elevator. So it needs to be on as well as when we want to go to that floor. And I forgot to mention also, these are hooked up to the RS NOR latches for each floor, and that is how we stop it. The same way we would with the button up here. Say we're on the second floor, or middle floor, and then we're going down to first floor. This then turns off the RS NOR latch. So, back to our second floor sensor here. All right, I need to get this moving to better demonstrate what it's doing. So from here, so long as the conditions are, it's trying to go to the floor and it's on the floor, it then splits the signal to this monostable circuit. How this works is it uses a NOT gate with a delay, which then goes into an AND gate. Now this is currently putting out an on signal because it's a NOT gate. So this is on, and it'll stay on until it gets the signal from over here with a delay of the logic gate itself plus this delay timer, and then this will be true for the length of time of about 5 ticks, I think is how it works out to be, and that is just long enough to get these RS NOR latches to convert over, because I think on occasion these will start to flip out if these are too short. Here, let's start that up again, and just for demonstration's sake, do that. Alright, well, obviously it didn't work because our motor is still on, so It sets, it did something right, but it didn't quite do the whole thing. Right? Oh, was that it? No. There we go. Alright, so this is a monostable circuit. What this does is it then sends just long enough a signal to switch over the RS NOR latch for the up motor, which, you know, just the same as the stop button, the emergency stop button would do. But it doesn't want to hold that signal for too long. It then also sends that signal to the down motor because it doesn't know which way we're going when these two conditions are met, that it's going to the floor and it's on the floor. It doesn't know which way it was coming from, so it's just going to try to turn them both off. So from there, we get one more signal, which needs to be on a delay, which then goes back to the RS NOR latch in the beginning, turning that off, which then resets the whole thing, allowing you to go to any floor you want. So I hope that's not too tricky for you to follow, because, you know, this was the easy version. This was just to show you the general premise of what's going on here, because we only have 3 floors, and the motors, no doors or anything. That's when we get to this over here, which this is better wired to allow for as many middle floors actually as you want. This is designed for 5. It's going to be in the Steam Workshop as 5, with all the doors, with both doors opening on each floor, and you'll more easily be able to disconnect which doors you don't want to open. But this here, a little more complicated, but more or less the same thing with some add-ons. What this does, or what this is we have this yellow circuit here, which is the exact same as this over here, plus an OR gate on either end of these floor detector ones. So these were just a simple AND gate because there's only one other floor that could start it. In this case, we have 3 buttons once again, but these are going to actually represent 1st floor, 3rd floor, 5th floor. And we have the sensors over here for 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, 4th floor, 5th floor, but for the sake of demonstration and trying to keep this as clean as possible for you guys to follow, we're just going to have the 1/3 floor in the middle here. We're not going to get too involved with the rest. Those are mainly just there to demonstrate that it won't stop at that floor. So, let's start on the 1st floor. Doors are open, we walk in, and we want to go to, let's say, the 5th floor for now. So then we're gonna cycle up through all of our sensors, and just as it should, nothing is happening until we hit the sensor up here. Now, what makes this different from the other one, aside from the delay here, which is intended for the doors to open properly before they kind of slam into the ground before it stops completely. We also have a monostable circuit coming off of the switch, which also opens the doors, because we don't want these doors to stay open when we're at the floor that we want to be at. We want those doors to be able to close. That's why we need a short signal to switch it over. Now, just for clarity's sake, let's point out the RS NOR latches. So we have the up motor RS NOR latch arranged pretty differently, but I did that again to keep the wires as clean as I could. here's the down floor, and this is the floor detector, or the floor call, however you want to state that. That is the way the elevator knows if it wants to stop at that floor. And this here is also an RS NOR latch. I just arranged it weird because it's the same as the rest, but these are for the doors, and each set of doors would have its own RS NOR latch and controller. So along with that, we have these buttons pretty clearly, like the on-off switch for the motors. We have an on-off sort of for the doors, or instead of on-off, we can go closed and open. So now we're at the 5th floor. Now let's say we want to go down to the middle floor. So doors close, we start going down. So, whoop, well, that doesn't matter. We get off the 5th floor, 4th floor, and our 3rd floor detector is over here. And there we go, it stops. And the door's open. I'll try to get that properly on the way back. So let's theoretically go down to the 1st floor. So off from the 3rd, onto the 2nd, and then onto the 1st floor. So from there, try to display all of this as best we can throughout the process. Did I not? There we go. I guess I didn't hold it for long enough. That is an issue with these buttons in Scrap Mechanic currently. I kind of wish you could go into the settings and like user interface, something like this, to set a specific pulse for that, because it can be unreliable with these more advanced clicking systems here. As these things need to work with a long enough signal, and if it doesn't quite get a long enough signal, it can work weird. So when if you do decide to download this or build it yourself, make sure to press and hold the buttons for long enough. It doesn't need to be that long, just don't tap it, is the important thing. There we go, down to the 1st floor again. So the way this works, just like the end gates over here, we have an OR gate just before it. Right, OR gate, end gate. Are we going to that floor? Yes. And are we on one of the lower floors? So it doesn't matter which floor switch is on, just so long as one of them is. This will be on, and if we want to go to that floor, end gate turns on, and this activates our up motor. Same for the down, it's just up here. So top floors, either top floor, and we can go down. So for each floor, you can simply arrange whichever sensors need to decide which way it goes. For whichever floor, so in the instance of, say, the 2nd floor would look something more like that, although you wouldn't need the OR gate here. So only the 1st floor would make it go down. Right? No, up. Only the 1st floor would make it go up, and all the other floors would make it go down. So let's not leave that like that, though. Next thing, from these monostable circuits, you can control them independently for the doors. So you can, when you have the second set of doors, or however many doors, if you design your own crazy thing, just take a signal from here and set it to the on signal, or the open signal, just as you would the open doors button. And that will allow you to open either this door or another set of doors as per floor. And we can, I think at this point, we can try to look at the elevator itself. See if we can't try to make some heads or tails of all of this. So let's open the door. The way I arrange this is we have our RS NOR latches for the front door here, and the RS NOR latch for the back door over here. So we can control those independently based on which floor we're on. And we have the floor call RS NOR latches in the corners over here. So this is to go to the second floor. This is to go to the third floor, fourth floor, and the first and fifth floors are only attached to monostable circuits, so I jam those over here. And all of the rest of that yellow circuit on both of these boards, those are packed away on the bottom, in the corner itself. So like, this is all vertically. There are tons of crisscrossing lines here. So I did try my best to keep the cable management to a minimum, or the crossing lines to a minimum, which I think I did fairly good, especially from here. This particular angle looks really good. There are not too many crossing lines across the elevator itself. But yeah, the yellow circuit is this vertical piece on the side here, as well as a couple of logic gates down here. So this one, and this monostable circuit over here. Kind of hard to see, but we have our NOT gate and our AND gate over here, and our delay, and those are on each of those sides. We just have the bottom floor sensor over here, and we have those delays for the up and down RS NOR latches over here. So these are sort of our up and down motors. And we have the wheels clench on the rail over here. And each of those have their controllers above and below. So these are the up controllers, the down controllers, front door open controller, back door open controller. Simple, right? Yeah, that's what that is. And just to show, we have the doors all controlled by the buttons here. These all go to shut the doors. No matter which set of doors are open, it's gonna close the doors, and then we're gonna go to whatever floor we want to go to. Problem is, if you have inputs for multiple middle floors, it will start to go again. Yeah, let's go up to the fourth floor, and then I'm gonna hit 3 and 2. It's gonna try to start going again, so you want to go to one floor at a time. It's not really intended to go to multiple floors, and remember, but it's pretty useful to know that, because we can then use these as up and down buttons, and if we happen to want to stop at one of those, the emergency stop button, turns off the which floor memory you want to go to. So it clears the memory and stops the motors, as well as oh wait, no, it doesn't open the doors, because we have open and closed door buttons. So these are just hooked up to both. I would otherwise need a second set of buttons to control which set of doors open. Whoop. Didn't press it for long enough. You see, that's what I was talking about. You have to have a long enough signal, otherwise it acts weird. On occasion, if you're kind of halfway through the floor a little bit, or like half a block through the floor, kind of punches its way up, it can still kind of make it, but if you are halfway, it's gonna be kind of disastrous. Yeah, frame drop. Don't let this happen. Just try to close the door as quickly as possible. And you can hit stop, and when we are in between floors like this, we can just hit the top or bottom floor buttons, and it will go down for the bottom floor or up for the top floor. If you happen to hit both, you will stop. But these cylinders here will keep moving, so you don't want that to happen. If you stop your elevator for any weird reasons, make sure to hit the stop button. And that skewing is another kind of glitch thing it does. Not entirely sure what is causing that. It might be the tight clearances I have on everything. All of this is really close to the elevator itself for when it passes, and for some reason when it stops while it's heading down, sometimes it skews sideways. Well, I think that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you can follow. If you have any questions or requests, or you want to download the elevator yourself, it should be in the Steam Workshop with a link in the description below. I hope I can get a link to that. I don't know how that all works, but that's what I'm going to try to do. So that's it for me. Hopefully I can also get a world download for you guys to use, and so you can figure out some of this yourself, follow it, and get to know it a little better. That's all up to you. But thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Just need to do a quick little update for anyone who actually does download this. I've made some changes to the elevator itself. I was able to get rid of a monostable circuit over here as well. It's just the same thing. So instead of also going through a monostable circuit, this just uses the looping self-turning off effect to send out a short signal, which powers down the motors going down and up. So we can see that. Oop. We go like that. So it turns itself off already. So it's already sending a short pulse. I didn't need to have it go through another set of a pulse limiter. Beyond that, aside from some color changes, I just wanted to show how you would go about putting it in place. Here I have some markers to let me know where to put it so that I know it's in the middle, and where to put the rails as well. So here we go. We have the U-beam on either side here, and you'll notice also that the RS NOR latches here are not there, here. Yeah, I think I turned this around. All right. Well, yeah, these are flashing. We don't want that. So when you first go to place it in your world, those will be going crazy. Easy way to shut them off is to hit the emergency stop button, and I like to hit the open doors button because it's easier to get inside and interact with the rest of the buttons again. And just when you place it, make sure you don't put it halfway between floors. The doors opening will clip through, so we can place it kind of halfway. Press down. I've set it so both doors will open. You can figure out which, let's see, these NOR gates over here, these are part of the RS NOR latch. on one side. Every floor button closes both doors before it starts moving. So you can follow those buttons to the off switch or the closed doors function, as well as the closed door button. So we have the open door button, and those will go to these door latches over here. So what you want to do from there is disconnect whichever doors you don't want to open at each floor. And where those are going to be found are on these middle end gates for the middle floors. So coming from the button side over here, going clockwise around the elevator itself, we have the second floor, the third floor, and the fourth floor. If we pull a signal from this middle end gate over here, which is the floor detector and floor call gate, if we're going there and we've reached the same floor that we want to go to, that will then send a signal to each of the doors. So this goes down to here and down to there. If you say don't want this door to open, you just disconnect that, just like that. That, as I pointed out, for each other floor. This one is the fourth floor, just to keep you all following. And for the first floor and fifth floor, we have those going to these monostable circuits on the side, and we can pull a signal from the end gate below the delay, and the top one is for the top floor, the bottom one for the bottom floor, and again you can just pull the signal from that to whichever door you don't want to open, and that'll be the quick and easy way to set it. And the same thing with the sensors, with where they are. This one over here, second floor, this is a second floor sensor. So wherever you want to make your second floor, just put a block there to catch the camera, and a block above it, and that will set what your floor is. I wanted to also mention that these floors can be any distance apart from each other. Just decorating here a little bit. So you can actually have a varying amount of distance between each floor, or have the fifth floor just go all the way to the top of the world, just to see what it's like up there. However you want to have it set. It just uses these detection blocks in the corners. And I think that's it.